Hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining me here for another video. So I had recently been feeling called to do another painting where I'm kind of channeling the collective, but honestly this painting has like lots of layered meanings and it did take me like a while to perfect. As you can see here, I had a concept. I had already painted it on paper and started it and just decided that I hated it and it was not really what I had channeled. It is not what I had in mind. So here, I'm just showing you guys. Sometimes you have to like paint over something and start again, and kind of abandon the progress you've made. And that's okay. But yeah, basically today I just wanted to talk about this new painting I made. I'm not too sure of the name right now. It'll probably be in the comments. Sorry, not in the comments. It'll probably be in the description after I post this. But yeah, right now I am really excited to share this piece with you. I'm really happy about how it turned out. And I feel like it has a lot of layered meanings that are really interesting and hopefully helpful to anybody who's watching this. I, for a while, during like the eclipse, had been going through like my own kind of personal deaths and rebirths. And during that process, I kept seeing this image of a face kind of distorted with other faces coming out of it that were like screaming or otherwise in pain, or it was definitely of a really chaotic look is what I channeled in meditation. And I didn't know what that was about entirely at that time, but I knew I had to paint it. So this is me preparing the canvas for that. And when it comes to the meaning of this specific piece, I remember at first connecting to it in a very personal way before understanding the collective meaning. At first, the piece really came through in my own way of, in a past, video on this channel, I think my last video, I had talked about feeling like I had other people in my head kind of telling me what to feel and what to think and what to believe. And I feel like I channeled part of that for myself into this painting, or at least in the first iteration of it that I eventually covered up, where I was just trying to channel that feeling of having different voices in your head, sort of, not necessarily real voices, or more just like the thoughts and feelings of other people in your head clouding your own judgment and your own feelings about, whatever it may be. And I was really just thinking about how it felt like my own voice was drowned out by the voices I had internalized from just really anyone in my life, like other people I had ever met at any point. And that was kind of the first concept I had, which was different from what I had initially channeled. What I had initially seen was very much this one face kind of being pulled apart in different directions. And the first design, I had like different kind of entities around a central figure, and I just felt like I didn't really like it, and I felt like I was missing a message. Like I was focusing too much on, my own personal meanings and my own personal kind of situation, that I was kind of losing like the collective meaning and the collective medicine. So here you can see that I'm starting to map out the second design. From what is being mapped out here, not all of it stays the same, but a lot of it does. And I was kind of thinking of the word siren, I think, at this point when I was putting it together. Obviously, when I think of sirens, I usually think of like the mystical seafaring things that lure sailors to their demise. And while that is true, or true that what I was thinking about, I noticed even the design of the faces I made kind of reminded me of a more modern siren. Like they're connected by this one central, I don't want to say head because I literally made it a head in the painting, but like three horns connected to like one central point where the sound is blasted from, I guess. And that ended up being what the faces looked like, which to me is significant to the meeting. As I was painting, I started to feel that what was coming through for the collective was once again around pain and grief, but the specifics of trying to ignore pain and the wails of pain that you are aware of, that are within you and without you, and trying to block off that energy, that awareness. I feel like there's so many things going on in the world that it can be really overwhelming to pay attention and honestly care about the things that are happening to our people across all lands, to be honest, across all places. And I feel like in this piece, I was channeling the collective energy of like not knowing what to do with all this pain, not knowing how to look at it or continue to look at it. Especially a feeling of not being able to change things, of not understanding how important your awareness is. At the same time, I felt a bit of a double meaning coming through as well, because it is important to pay attention to even the bad things of our world, but it is vitally important, I'll say, not to get sucked in and not to have the voice of wisdom, of light, of hope to be drowned out by the pain. It's very easy to look at the world and think like, there is no benevolent being, there cannot be a higher benevolent being, because what kind of higher benevolent being would let this kind of thing happen? And I'm not here to tell you that every bad thing is happening for a reason and it's fine that it's happening. I think that is a conclusion a person comes to themselves. I do not feel comfortable telling anybody that like, hey, this horrible thing happening to you, it's for a reason, so like be grateful for it. Like, I don't think that's appropriate. I think it's a wisdom that you come to yourself or you don't. And some people come to different conclusions and different wisdoms, and I'm not here to tell you anything. I would rather direct you inwards. But I personally believe that when we come into this life, we do agree to a certain extent of fucked up shit, or at least a possibility. And while I do not in any way think that justifies evil or the acceptance or the complacency for evil and evil acts, I do think that there is a great power and peace that comes with the understanding that you are here for a reason, or at least I can only speak for myself, but I feel that I am here for a reason, however small or big. I feel like it's important, and it's important for me to see what's happening in the world to the best of my ability, while also not being consumed. You'll see it later as the piece develops, but the central head right at the bottom, holding its ears closed, it has 3 other heads attached to it, all like in pain, all screaming in some way. And above that, there is going to be a little dot of light representing literally the truth and the hope, and the light at the end of the tunnel, or the light through the dark that finds your way home. And I really wanted to channel that voices of pain, all of these simultaneous genocides and things going on in the world, blocking out kind of this central figure at the bottom's ability to perceive a way out. And I just wanted to channel that emotion, amongst other things, of course, as you'll hear through this piece. And I wanted to honor that, like, for a lot of people, for a long time, it might stay like that. You might have to stay in that space of not knowing how to move forward through the horror. And I want to say that I believe that's still a divine rite of passage to be in that space. I honestly don't even think that's less spiritual than any other awareness of, you know, everything happens for a reason or whatever. Yeah, I have my own gripes with that sentence and the way it has been used to victims of violence, but I feel like this piece is highlighting a part in our collective history, like an emotional part of our collective history, where we're in this space where maybe we have a concept of a world beyond this, a world with more fairness, with more love, and less violence, less manipulation, less bullshit, really. But with all the heads of the demons around us, like in, you know, corrupt governments and corporations and whatnot, mixed in with the pain of the people who are get the butt end of the stick, really, of the way this world is set up. And through that pain and through all that corruption and all those monsters, really, it's, for a lot of us, it's kind of impossible to see anything beyond it. And that's why I felt like it was really important to kind of make that little dot at the top of my piece to show that there always is a way out. It just might not be in your awareness yet, I should say. For me, I think one of the most important spiritual lessons I have right now, just within me, is holding on to the hope and knowing that in every piece of darkness, there is always a light home, otherwise you would be lost, is something Hecate had said to me in a reading a friend was doing for me. And I just thought that was so beautiful and so real. I really think if you're not looking or you don't believe there's a way out, then that option, that opportunity is like closed off to you. As much as in this world that we live in, I don't blame you. I do think that we cut ourselves off from anything better when we abandon hope. Hope is the most important thing to me. I feel like the darker it gets, the denser it gets, the more vitally important it is to hold on to that hope, to see the pain, to dive into the deep and the dark, to remember to look for the guiding light home. Because then otherwise, what is this for? And I have to believe it's for something. And it is. All right, now I'm just going to show you guys the final piece. I hope you like it. I hope it speaks to you. I hope you appreciate it, or it's provided some wisdom to you in some way, or some comfort. I am struggling to show you guys the piece here, but I hope it's okay. I hope you can see enough of it. And thank you so much for being here for the video. Thank you and goodbye.